Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on when you are watching the Reds Report. As it is the land of YouTube, you could be watching this at any point, any time. Given our current situation, you could be sat in your underpants or in the bath, or maybe you are at work. Some of us have been working, Carlo.
That's a rich one coming from you, isn't it?
How are you? Are you all right?
Yeah, can I just say, I normally crack the jokes in this partnership.
Yeah, they're usually rubbish, so I thought I'd take precedent.
Have I told you where I'm from?
Carlo, you're not in the bedroom tonight, so
No.
you're not. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, my wife's got a partner now. No, just light. Sorry. You can tell it's easy. It's just light, isn't it? Because it's a bit darker. So, no, I'm sat in the kitchen with a well-deserved beer. So.
Also, on the Reds Report, we have a guest today. We have Jimmy Whitehead. we'll call you Jimmy. Is that all right?
Jimmy's fine. Yeah, Jimmy's fine. How are we doing, lads?
How are you? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. You?
Yes, good. I thought before we get started, we've been a Saturday night. We'll crack a beer open, shall we? A beer for the working man.
Oh, what is it? Both Heineken. Oh man,
yeah.
I've gone wrong, haven't I?
Not getting the message.
I'm obviously not in your WhatsApp group, am I?
No, me and Jimmy, we private message.
Can I just say to everybody watching that we have to be on our sort of best behaviour, because Jimmy is the person who sort of oversees all our broadcasters for hospital broadcasting services on the match day. So whilst we can have a laugh, we need to try and maintain professional. I know that's hard, Chris, but we have been practicing this week, so let's see how we go.
So Jimmy, first time I met you, probably a year ago now, I reckon, at the hospital. Me and Carl obviously came to do voluntary work for the commentary team with Phil Hall. And that's the first time I met you there. What's the crack there? What's your kind of role at the hospital?
Yeah, so I manage, look after all the volunteers at Barnsley Hospital. So we've got around 250 volunteers. The hospital radio, which you guys obviously do, I did a little bit myself a couple of years ago, but I've not done it for a while. So Phil, and you've met Ron as well. So they kind of look after the good guys. They look after the radio for me, really. So I don't have any worries or anything I have to do with that. They sort the rotors out, they sort everything. When I did it, we're more called, obviously being a Barnsley supporter, just getting into really enjoyed doing it, to be fair. It was good, really enjoyed the media, but more for a bit of a laugh, really, and that kind of thing. But Phil and Ron are really good, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the great guys, Phil and Ron. Me and Carl really get on with them. The absolute salt of earth blokes, and Phil's taught us loads, hasn't he, Carlo, this year, really?
He has. I had a team meeting with work this morning via video, and we had to all show a picture of something that reminds of us good times. And I've got a photo on my phone of me and Ron doing the commentary. And you know, when you first start in a job, don't matter if it's voluntary or not, and you're told you're doing it with somebody who's doing it for quite some time, so you're sort of, the people doing that, just absolutely amazing. Such great people. What confused me is when we went for the interview, is I thought, I know that guy, but I also see him at Oakwell with a tracksuit on.
Yeah.
Are you leading a double life, Jimmy, or what is it on match days then? Because we can see you very, very much with stuff and some of the young ones.
Yeah, so it's double life with my name as well, I think, as well. People, depends how you know me, really. So down at Barnsley, yeah, on a match day, I look after the ball boys, to be fair now. So coordinate and make sure that they're all in, they're in the right stands, etc. I'm down there watching. Obviously, I've supported them since I was, 5, 6 years old myself. And I got into that really through initially scouting. So I do a bit of scouting. I've now got into a bit of coaching. So kind of, what the club's like, once you kind of speak to people and you do one job, it leads into another, and everyone's great down there. And seeing you guys down there when you came for your, doing your voluntary interview and things, it's good when people are, I think, fans, and that's what we look for. Phil and Ron, myself, everybody who does the radio, what you do, a big supporter. So I think it makes it a bit easier, doesn't it, when you know about a team and a bit of passion. And when I've done the radio, that's what it comes across like when everybody does it, I think. So
yeah. Can I just say, Jimmy, Carlo, you had to pick a photo out for work that made you happy?
Yeah, so because the times are dark and we try and cheer each other up, so they said, everybody show a photo of something that reminds you of happier times. Yeah, so some people put...
I'm thinking you were on commentary with Ron that day.
Yeah.
You've been on commentary with me and the photo, haven't you?
But I didn't want them saying, who's that good-looking one, and then explain, you know what I mean? So I just thought, I choose Ron, and that makes me look half decent. Jimmy, besides obviously the coaching, am I right in thinking you've also got some other football things going off as well? Are you still academy, I've heard?
Yeah, so at the moment, I had my own academy with a friend of mine, Craig, which was Sport Elevation Football Academy, which we started in September last year. So coaching kids from 5 to 12. First time we've done this. I've only really been coaching for sort of 18 months, 2 years, and kind of snowballed really since I've got into it. We've always talked, me and Craig, about doing this, and it kind of were, should we just go and do it? Why not? What can we lose? So we did that. Did a couple of nights a week, been pretty successful. It was good. We then had a bit of a chat. So Martin Devaney, who you guys will know.
Never heard of him.
I've got to know from coming down and like say sitting the games with him quite a bit. Yeah. We got talking one day. He was kind of interested in doing this himself a while ago. So we got talking and we said to Craig, us three had a bit of a meeting. Could we come together? And so we formed a new name, which is Momentous Football Academy. We were due to start on the 6th of April, which, of course, with what's going on, has been delayed. But at the minute, we've kind of got all the website done. We've got a new logo, and it's given us the time, if anything, to advertise it a little bit better. So we've been sending kind of emails with training sessions onto kids. So a lot of the kids, or all of them practically, were at Sport Elevation, are coming across to Momentous. Plus, we've had a lot of interest social media-wise, and I think with Martin on board, people see him and assume, I think, wow, we've got a great coach, under 23s manager, really good. So that will hopefully mean a lot of the kids will want to come in. Between me, Craig and Martin, we're all going to be doing the coaching. So it's good for me as well, really, because I can learn off somebody who's, got a lot of experience being a player, really good guy, get on really well with him, and really, learn from him and make myself a better coach as well.
So, Jimmy, you're working at the hospital full time, or how long does that? What kind of percentage of the pie does that take? The hospital?
It's a little bit tricky. My life's getting a bit tricky at the minute with things I do. But so I work Monday to Friday, Barnsley Hospital, in my job, and also I've got involved with the Shadow Scholarship down at Barnsley Football Club as well.
Goodness me!
I know this is a lot.
He's busier than us.
So this is a couple of afternoons a week. Usually it's like 4 o'clock is when we start training, so it's good for me in terms of finish work, go straight to 10 minutes away, straight down and coach. So I look after the under 17s, so I'm managing them this year. We've just finished, we've had to finish our season obviously early, and the game's on a Wednesday, so I usually have most Wednesdays either off work, which I use my annual leave to do that, or I'll do, if it's a home game, I'll probably need half a game. If we're away, we've been Newcastle, Sunderland, them type of places, it's kind of a full day off. But I would rather use my annual leave to do something that I enjoy. It's something that I'd like to get into as a full-time career if you can. It's difficult to do that, but at the minute, these are all the things I'm willing to do, I think, to develop myself, get myself a little bit better. And sometimes, and this is what I do in my job really, so I see a lot of people who come to be volunteers who want to be nurses and doctors and things like that. So I'm telling them to be volunteers, get experience, come and do it. So I'm kind of sort of practicing what I preach really, and going down to, well, as soon as I started scouting, which were probably 3 years ago now, I went down every training session on a night, looking at the standard of players, speaking to the coaches, getting to know people, and I think people will probably know me now more because they think, who's this guy who keeps turning up every night just watching our training sessions. But these are the kind of things that I think you should do. Shows you're interested, you learn more, and in the end, it's kind of helped me get my foot in the door, if you like, doing a little bit of coaching. So do a bit of development centre coaching with the younger ones on a Friday evening, and then the Shadow Scholarship. I went to watch probably 7 or 8 games last season. Manager kind of spotted me, thinking again, who's this guy who's watching? Have a bit of a chat with him, and in the end, I ended up kind of coaching starting last summer. So it's been really good. Really enjoyed it.
I suppose Barnsley Football Club. We know the DNA for the first team. We know that into younger players that they can either bring up themselves through the academies or bring from lower leagues, develop them and sell them on. Now, let's go back 10 years ago. You might have played, or a youngster might have played for his local team, whether that be Ardsley or Worsborough or Hoyland.
But I'm right in thinking you. Sorry, Carl, just cut you off. I'm right in thinking you've got a finger in a pie at Worsborough as well. Because I know that me and you've got some mutual friends. I'm wondering, a manager that we had on 2-3 a week back, Lee Morris.
Yes, Lee.
What's the crack there? Sorry, Carlo.
That's all right.
Yeah, so that came around a little bit of both, really. I used to play for Worsborough Bridge for 10 years, 10, 12 years probably. I played there. So I've only just finished playing maybe a couple of years ago, which has got me into the coaching and scouting. Because once I was okay. I weren't the best player. I was decent, but not too, not the best. But you train 2-3 times a week. So the coaching is now replacing the football, really, kind of thing. So I got a bit of a call from the chairman saying, I know you're doing a bit of coaching at the minute, and I was doing the Barnsley schoolboys at the time, and the scholarship, would you come and do a couple of games? The end of the last, not the season we're in now, the season before, under 19s. So I said, yeah, I'll come down. They were struggling. I think they got 1 point all season. They were really sort of struggling. They were difficult, the 2 games, and I'm thinking, is this kind of what I really want to do? After the season finished, I had a bit of a chat with the chairman and said, for me, you're probably better off, because they had a reserve team at the time who were struggling as well, is to scrap the reserves of the 19s and have an under-21s. So you join the under-21 league with a clear path to get in the first team then, because the players will come in at 17, 18, 19. If you're not getting in a first team at North East Counties by the time you're 19, 20, you're probably not going to get in. And my idea of thinking, right, if I do this, the Shadow Scholarship lads who I coach during the day, it gives them another platform to play, because it's kind of more setting them up for semi-professional if they're not going to become professional footballers, which is very difficult. They're going to go down a semi-professional route. So it's a Thursday night league under the lights, and I always really enjoyed playing floodlights, and really found it a bit of a better kind of buzz to do that. And a lot of our Shadow Scholarship lads have said that exact same thing to me. It's a bit more physical, a little bit quicker, and it's more maybe that they're wanting to really win the game, whereas scholarship program is about developing players. You obviously want to win because you're out there and you've got your Barnsley kit on, you want to win, but it's about developing the lads. At Worsborough, we're trying to get them to get into Moz's first team, where it is about winning when you get in there, and Moz,
yes, I do.
Doing well, he'll tell him, but that's what he's got to do in his job. So we invited him down to Barnsley, actually the first team at Worsborough, to play our Shadow Scholarship. So we've got 17s, 18s, and 19s, and an under-23 team now. So the 23s and the 19s are a bit similar. They're kind of the same team. So they played our 23s, and we played really, really well against them. And I think they were probably shocked at the standard of players we'd got. So we had a bit of a chat, and we came up with a bit of a plan to say, right, can we get some of our scholarship lads and the Worsborough 21s into your first team? I think we got 6 or 7 boys in there who played last season. 2 in particular who were playing regular. And I went to watch 4 or 5 games they played. There's a bit of support really to see that they were okay, and they've gone into sort of men's football now, and they were just outstanding, and they look like they played 100 games at that level. So I think Moz then started realising we've got some good lads and we work together.
Yeah.
Worsborough's the club I played for and stuff like that. So it
all kind of ties in, doesn't it?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, really good.
That's the difference now, though, isn't it? I mean, my lad is 24. He played football he started at under 6 all the way to, I think he was under 15s when he was Aquaforce then.
Yeah,
And I remember those days playing for Worcester Common. They had a season where they went unbeaten. And they had the final at the 4G pitch at Oakwell. And every now and then say, oh, there's a scout. And all the kids will get all hyped up. They all have bad matches because somebody was watching them. Now you fast forward, you've got these, like these academies you've got. You've got the Shadow Scholar Squad. You've got the Barnsley Academy. You've got the schoolboys. Can you just sort of put in order standard-wise as well?
But, yeah.
So let's say somebody plays for Ardsley or for, Ardsley, under 11s. Is there still a Barnsley schoolboys that might feed into the Barnsley Academy, or how does it all work? And I'm just going to get a bit here, but I am listening.
It's a bit spider-webby, isn't it?
Well, that's what I think that's what it is in Barnsley, especially. Everybody kind of knows each other, and the more I've got into doing this, from literally starting off scouting, so I scout from boys 7 to 16 to come to Barnsley Football Club to the academy.
Right.
When I got involved with the schoolboys coach, that was the first coaching thing 2 years ago that I ever did with the under 11s, which is the first year you can be a schoolboy at under 11, so it doesn't start till then. I now look at lads when I'm out scouting and think if they're not quite ready for Barnsley Academy, they can come down the schoolboy route. So you've got your grassroots level, which is what most lads kind of play Sunday League, and then you've got the schoolboy. So the best players in the district in Barnsley from under 11s to 15s play for the schoolboys. So you have trials, this is why the partnership with the schoolboys and Barnsley Football Club is working better. The trials for the schoolboys are actually down at Oakwell. So on the 4G, we have a week in July where we do that. So it's great for the kids to come down and train in, where Barnsley football players do. So they come and play every Saturday morning. So that's one of the jobs I still do, and I never want to give, never want to give it up because we've got such a good team. So my under 11s got to like the national finals last year at Melwood at Liverpool. So only the 8 best districts in England out of, I think it was 400 odd districts get to this final. So we were one of the 8 who got there. We came 5th, which is the 11s at Barnsley have never ever got to the national final. So a really good achievement to do it. So some really good players. So you've got that, and then of course you've got your academy. So we've got probably, since I started, I think we've maybe got 6 or 7 boys who've gone into academies, either Barnsley, Sheffield United, Rotherham. So there's some really good lads. So it kind of helps that I know the standards of what you need to be a schoolboy, or whether it's grassroots or academy. And then as a scout, then that's why I went down watching loads and loads of training sessions. So I knew that if I'm bringing a player in, that I'm being fair to him, that he can handle that environment. The club are not thinking I'm wasting the time by bringing players in who are not at the level. And then we've had quite a few boys who've been signed, players you bring in. So that's how it kind of works. But you get a little bit older. So with the Shadow Scholarship, you can join once you finish school. So it's a bit like a college course. So you come and do your college work, and you play in the National Youth League, it's called. So it's a bit like saying if you're at Barnsley College, they play football. I personally think it's a better standard, obviously, in the National Youth League. And we have a player, Callum Womersley, have you heard of him? Plays with the scholarship.
Yeah.
Callum came through the Shadow Scholarship program, of the first player to actually get a scholarship. So it's set up to get your education, to play football, but to try and get these lads into a scholarship if they're good enough. So a lot of the boys we get are probably released from an academy at under 15s, under 16, and they come through us. So they're a good standard of player. All of them are good. Callum were really good, as you've seen him, obviously, and he sort of has the look of a footballer, if you like, when you look at him.
It'd be nice to get him on here, actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So he would tell about it. We've got a kid at the minute, Stephen Simpson, who plays in the Scholars. He plays at Woodborough. He's been he was on trial with the 23s before the lockdown. So he's a really talented boy. He came on for the first team. I think he came on 63 minutes, 1-1, and they won 5-1. He scored a hat-trick.
Wow.
Get him on. Time up.
Really good kid. So we're kind of there to set him up. And so the training we give him is mirroring what the Scholars do. And there's some really good boys down there. So it's difficult to break in. But with the Woodborough partnership, it now gives players a chance to go down semi-professional route, which probably most of them would end up at that level. But you can earn some good money. You'll probably go and get a job, but you can be a good semi-professional, and that can then. So at Woodborough, we've then got a bit of a link with Stocksbridge, because our old Woodborough manager he's a Stocksbridge manager, so you're then going up another level.
Right.
And that's how people can get spotted. And I think with Jamie Vardy and things like that, scouts will go to like even Woodbury level now, and you'll find a bit of a gem of a player, and they can go up the levels a bit quicker than maybe they did 10 years ago when people thought, you know, you're not. Because Jamie Vardy probably changed all that, probably, I think, as well.
Yeah, because the scouts used to come to a match, and they make a decision on that one match, and if you happen to lose, that was it. You mentioned the Liverpool Training Academy. I know it's not the subject, but I just Fit Reds, the initiative with Barnsley Reds of the Community, which I played for quite some time, over 35s.
Do you used to play football, Carlo?
Yes, listen, I don't brag as much as you because I'm not very good. Listen.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jimmy mentioned Sunday League earlier, and my ears just pricked up. I wonder if Jimmy knows I've scored 12 goals for Cross Keys this season. And they've all been absolute bangers, you know.
It's not fair though now. I know on your Sunday League, the finals used to be well. And now I think they've stopped all that. So I think probably 5 or 6 finals on there, which were brilliant back then. But they've kind of stopped it now.
I've stopped you again, Carlo.
It's all right. We got an invite, and they said, "Oh, we've heard about this Fit Reds. We've got a livable Fit Reds. Why don't you come and play us?" So we hired a coach. About 18 of us went, and we went. I mean, the setup was just absolutely
brilliant. Yeah.
Pitch. They had physios. They had warm-up coaches. Turns out theirs is nothing to do with a healthy lifestyle over 40s. These were military vets. These were kids that went to the army at 18, came out 10 years later. They said to me, because I had number 6, it's retired now because I could no longer play. And they said, all you need to do is mark their striker. He's a big lad, he'll not be fast. Imagine Arnie Schwarzenegger on steroids. And I literally just ended up chasing him all over the pitch. They're my memories of the Liverpool Training Academy.
Carlo, it'd be a shame for me to pass up the opportunity. Have you travelled and played with that Reds team anywhere else? Where have you been, Carlo?
So, because I can no longer play, because of health reasons, I started organising a trip every year to my home country of the Netherlands.
Are you Dutch? Are you Dutch?
He still doesn't know, does he? Luckily, this year's trip didn't go ahead, but we are planning something for next year. But yeah, and we play a similar team over in Holland. We go for 4 days to play 90 minutes. And you know how we'll fill all the other time. You know what football's like.
Yeah, Jimmy, we played a game last summer. We had like the Reds report versus a Rotherham team.
Oh, yeah.
And all money went to Barnsley and Rotherham Mind. So I think in summer, whenever this passes, hopefully we'll be playing again. So we'll have to get a number 8 shirt out for you. See if you can still pull strings.
Box-to-box midfielder. I'll still do a job. At my age.
I'm the physio.
Last year we had the Barnsley women's coaches. They played.
Yeah.
We had Chris up front. What's Chris's surname? Chris Hamilton.
Yeah.
Manager. I think he scored an hat-trick. And then we had Andy Glossop, assistant manager at Middle Park. I've never seen anything like it. They just absolutely run the show.
We'll get Davers on board as well.
Oh, yeah. We'll all get it box ready for Edda.
What is it? What's it been like for you now, though, Jimmy? I know you've still got your NHS career, obviously, and front line. But what's it been like? Have you ever had a period in your life when there's been no football like now? And how does it impact all the kids that you're working with as well? And you're talking about the scholars, the shadow sips. How is it affecting them? Because some of them come over here and that's their sort of career map, isn't it? Of you're going to do this and then hopefully this, and now there is nothing. How did he cope with that? I mean, Chris will admit, I will admit, I have some very difficult days when I think, what's going on? How does that work for the young ones that you're sort of involved with?
Yeah, with the scholars, shadow scholars, we've actually just been placed on furlough like a couple of weeks ago, so we're not really allowed. Obviously, you can't do any work with them. Prior to that, we were giving them sort of fitness programs. So, I don't know if you've heard of the Strava app. We got all the boys to download that, and we set them challenges, 5Ks and 10. We kind of now we're going out there doing it myself, trying to kind of get them going and like a bit of running myself, just challenging them and stuff like that. So they were keeping fit. We had a bit of a leaderboard, so we kind of had a bit of competition. But I think it's difficult because unless you can actually get out and do a little bit of football, if you've got a local park, it's difficult. So I think psychologically it's probably really hard for them because they train Monday, Tuesday, they play the game Wednesday, they're in Thursday, strength and conditioning, they're in Friday, and then they have a weekend. So they play nearly every day. Yeah. So to go from that to nothing, it's a bit like what the actual pro footballers are going through. And like you say, it's not just the football, it's mentally how, is it tough? And I think we all have days where we wake up and you think, what are you going to do today and when's this going to end kind of thing. So it's tough. I think probably more difficult for them than the younger ones, because with Momentous Football Academy, what we've been doing is, like I said earlier, sending training sessions out, simple ones that parents can follow, so they can do them in the garden, they can go to the local pitch. We've been setting challenges. We're in the Chronicle this week, or today, if you like, Friday, and they covered the bit of a skills challenge we did for the kids. So we did we asked them to do a 30-second video.
Yeah.
There was some great goals.
Yeah, so good, yeah. So we donated £2.50 from each video to the COVID-19 appeal. We've raised about £300 so far, which has been really good. So it keeps them involved and a bit of fun. We've managed to raise a bit of money. We've got our kind of name out there to show people what we're about, because although you are an academy and it will, you have to pay to come to the sessions when we open, we're about really wanting to coach the younger players and actually make them better. So whether it's your 5 or 6 year olds getting into football, or your boys who are a little bit older, we're going up to 16 now as well, to 5 to 16 year olds. So we want to try and develop and make them better footballers and better people, which at the minute we want to give these free sessions to everybody and get them engaged and help them. Because we feel that's the right thing to do. And that's
you mentioned the money you made of charity, Jimmy. I'm right in thinking there's something else you've got rolling as well. You're doing some kind of marathon, is that right?
Yeah, so that's this will be tomorrow in terms of Sunday. So it should be the London Marathon this Sunday. So me, Martin and Craig came up with a bit of an idea saying, should we run a marathon between us? So we've called it Momentous Marathon. And again, this is going to be raising money added to the £300 we've made to give it to the COVID-19. So we're going to do kind of split it and do a third each. So people, I'll get you the Just Giving page. You might be able to get that on your Facebooks and things like that, so people can donate. We're actually challenging the kids as well. I don't know if you've seen the Challenge 26 that the London Marathon are doing. So you're asking kids to do might be 26 kick-ups or 26 sprints. Could be 2.6 miles, 2.6 kilometres. So anything with 2.6 in, they can do and join in with us. They can get some sponsorship money, put it in the Just Giving page, and we're sending that as like a collective from our academy, from the players to the parents to the coaches, and we feel we should get involved. That's why we're doing this, and that kind of thing, really.
Chris, just want to. Oh, he looks very. Chris, can you just see if there's a light in your room, because you're going very dark. And we don't want to.
Dark, so
I know you've put your creams and powders on. And just while you're doing that, I had a text message from Angus McDonald just before we started recording this, just saying. And I know there is a lot of people doing a lot for the NHS. He put, evening, Carlo. As you know, in August last year I got diagnosed with bowel cancer. Luckily, with the support of everyone around me and my surgeons, I overcame it early December. Moving forward, I'm going to be raising as much awareness and raising as much money for Bowel Cancer UK. Bowel cancer is the second biggest killer in the UK. For this, I am supporting them in cycling 26 miles this Sunday. And there is, again, a Just Giving page, which we'll put on Twitter on Saturday or whatever, so people are aware.
Yeah, we'll make sure we support everybody.
And I'll see if I can get them on Monday.
For you, and as always, we'll support you, mate. We will.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, really good.
Jimmy, you yourself at minute, obviously struggling to get out there, living the normal week. Even though you're working at hospital, a lot of your other stuff stopped. How big is your week in terms of hours? So how many hours are you at the hospital for, and how many hours are you at Oakwell, and how many hours are you at Wordsborough?
Yeah, so I do my 37.5 hours at the hospital, unless I'm booking annual leave to maybe do some football. I'll probably coach, I don't know, 3-4 nights a week now. Saturday mornings, I do the Barnsley schoolboys. Sundays when I go out scouting. So pretty much every day I probably do some kind of football. But that is, I think when you want to get into something and you kind of need to go and do this, and I want to learn as much as I can, whether that's scouting, coaching, all these type of things. I'm football mad like you two clearly are as well. So it's more of an enjoyment thing for me, if anything. I don't kind of think, well, done this many hours or it's really difficult. Once I can't do my day job, football's like a hobby really to me, but it's given me a bit more direction now that I can can I be good at this? Can I get better? Can I get some more qualifications doing this? And just shadowing some of the coaches at Barnsley, I've learned. I've only been doing it 2 years, but I feel like I've learned so much just from being around the right people. And Barnsley's really good at, and you'll know this as well, you can kind of, once you're working there, you can kind of, they're encouraging you really to go down and speak to the staff, make yourself known. You know, you're shaking hands with everybody and doing the professional and kind of everyone helps each other, and everybody's been spot on with me since I first joined. And I think that is the community and the club we've got. It might not be the biggest football club in the world, but for us, what we do, I think we all drive together to try and make the club better, really.
I have to say, you mentioned that, and you're very much sort of like on the academy coaching side. Obviously, myself and Chris probably more on the media side. Whilst we don't do anything for the club, you know, it's all about the club. You know, we got a phone call earlier this week saying, you know, we like what you do. The club are coming out with something which we can't reveal, but, you know, like this, we interviewed Alex Mowat. You know, we got asked to host in the fan zone. And I think the club are very good in recognising people with passion. Not always maybe about talent, or I'm not saying anything about us, Chris, you know what I mean? But nothing, it's about the passion that we've got for the club. And I think during these times, the club showed it again yesterday, sending a tweet to somebody who'd tweeted out quite a bit, not negative, but I think she was struggling a bit. So they sent her a private tweet saying, listen, whilst we can't invite you to come here, do you want to chat? Let us know. We can ring you or whatever. And I think exactly we're not the biggest club. We're not the richest club. We'll never be, you know, the top of the table, Premier League, European football and all that. But I tell you what.
6 years.
I tell you what, I have, and I follow a lot of football clubs on Twitter and social media. I have yet to find a more community-facing club than what ours is. And I'm not saying that I support them. I just don't see evidence of any other clubs doing what Barnsley FC does.
But that's the beauty of, I think that's the beauty of the club, and it's the beauty of the town. And think about catchment area, think about capacity of the ground and attendances that we can get and finances and attraction geographical wise, like for players joining, or you think all of that really goes against it in terms of thinking of other clubs, you know, bigger cities not so far away. I won't say I'm on this podcast, but I think we make up our ground elsewhere, don't we? We make up our ground by 100%. It's very much a community club. It's very much a club that works together. But like you said, Jimmy, for a lot of us, well, for most, I'm going to say 90% of people, been around Barnsley Football Club isn't work, is it?
No, I mean, this is one thing I've been trying to drive with, like, lads I coach, whether it's the schoolboys or whether the scholars, that obviously as a fan, I think Barnsley's, you know, the best team. I'm not bothered about clubs around here. We go to big cities and play. It's to get into their mentality that we're a good town. We've got we've always had good footballers, whether it's semi-pro or professionals, always come through. And it don't matter to me. I probably enjoy it more when you go to bigger places and you play like with the schoolboys, and we've beaten everybody around here, Leeds, Sheffield, these type of like cities, and gone to Liverpool and representing Barnsley and trying to make sure they know it's good to wear that badge and show passion and pride when you do it, because it don't matter how big you are, really. You can still be good footballers. And same with the Shadow Scholars. We won the under-23 league this year, the Shadow Scholars. We've got the best programme in the country, has voted the best programme in the country. So people looking to us and thinking, you know, you're putting them on the map. Just coming our kind of academy, I like the fact that our academy and our ground is in the same place. So you don't get that very often with football clubs. The sort of academies are a long way away. Whereas actually, I go down there sometimes and we're coaching the Shadow Scholars, and the first team are training 20 yards away from you. And you don't get that at other clubs. I don't think you can kind of, the indoor centre we use a lot, they come in there and they use it now and again. And you literally, I think we had a story last year with Cameron McGee, and he joined in one of our yoga sessions. He just came in and sat and did it with the Shadow Scholars. And I don't think you'd get that at like really big clubs anymore, because they're kind of a little bit detached to what they are. But with us having young players in the first team, I think the lads seem really spot on, the players, which I think is, you know, really, really important as well.
You mentioned that you. Oh,
sorry. Go on, Chris.
Sure, Carl. You mentioned
you keep interrupting me. Keep going.
You mentioned that unity. Mentioned that unity, and you talk about, you know, from top to bottom. In terms of how the first team play football and the way in which we go and the way in which we set out, is that replicated all the way down, or how far down the chain is that replicated?
Yeah, so with the academy, they will try and replicate what the first team do. They'll also, I think it's important this for kids, they do play different formations during the season. So it's to make sure that the kids and the players can play in different systems and things like that. I think it's important, and also in different positions, because if you're a young boy at 9, 10 and you're a centre forward, don't always mean you're going to end up there. So you need to sort of learn the game a little bit. With the Shadow Scholars, we have a set way of playing, which is we're always playing out from the back. We're a really high pressing team, so probably similar to what Stendhal were like, that type of thing. Maybe Struve was a little bit different, but everyone has their own way of doing things. I think with football clubs, each manager can come and have a different way of playing, can't they, as well? So sometimes that changes, but ultimately we try and play the right way, which I think Barnsley teams do.
Yeah, we've always done that. From me being a boy, I remember.
Yeah, you want to be hard working,
and the football's not really changed that much.
No, I don't think it has. I watching a video. I think we've all watched the old videos, haven't we, while we've been off. And I watched the bit of highlights for Birmingham, Barnsley in the 99-2000 playoff semi-final when we won 4-0 away.
Right.
And I think the first goal we scored, Shipley, there must have been 25 passes going left to right, back, keeping possession, and a goal. And you normally just see the goal, don't you? You don't see the build-up when you watch it. But that were like 20 years ago when you were playing possession football, and you kind of think now your Man Cities and Liverpools have reinvented it, when actually they probably haven't really. There's been teams playing it all along, but it's highlighted a lot more now than probably what it was. Certainly Barnsley teams, when I was younger, were going to Wembley and Premier League when I started just watching them. Fortunately, it's not the norm, is it? But we're really good sides then, really good.
It's and I don't want to bring it up, Chris. Don't start. But it's a bit of that sexy Dutch football. If you go to Holland, and you go to a junior football club, every player is trained in 2 different positions, and a central defender will also be used to playing 4 at the back as well as 3 at the back. They don't play competitive matches until they get 11 years old. Here you can go to, I don't know, I'll mention Worsbrook because I lived there all my life. You can go to Worsbrook Common, and when there's no COVID-19 on a Sunday, you see the under 7s, the under 8s, the under 9s. In Holland, what they're saying is it's about technique, it's about ball control, and it's about knowing the techniques of the game. And, so while there is no football, Jimmy, because, there isn't, everybody is finding something new to sort of wind down. So me and Chris have started a bit of a book club. I've got your next book, Chris. It's that's I'm going to send that over to you next.
Thank you.
All right. What are you doing, Jimmy? Because working in the hospital, as we know, the pressure, and we've seen, and we join in on a Thursday and we clap. The thing is, a lot of people clap for the nurses and for the doctors, but it goes from up there in the operating room, the wards, but there is the cleaners, there is the volunteers, there is all the admin staff that keep everything going. So,
is there a question here, Carl, or are you just rambling on? Or?
No, because I've been waiting 20 minutes to ask one. I thought I'll take my time.
You know me, mate. I love you. I listen to you ramble on all night. I'm just concerned. Jimmy probably wants to get another cold one out at Frigid.
I can't hear him. It's good. So. when you've done that job, and it is a high pressure, you said it's a very different. What can you do now to relax? Have you found new ways to relax? Are you on Netflix 24? What are you doing to relax? Because I miss the football, I miss the match days, the atmosphere.
I think because I'm busy, and obviously I work there in the day, normally doing my coach. I'm doing something football. I actually struggle to sit down, watch TV, relax, Netflix. I'm not a big fan of doing that, but I've used this time I've been looking at a lot of like YouTube videos of sessions, training sessions. I've come up with different sessions that I want to try once we get out there. So I'm using it as a little bit of like research time, and maybe can I do things different, reflecting a little bit on what I've done as well. And sometimes I look back and think, God, I actually have done quite a bit, and I'm that busy all the time that you kind of forget what you're doing all the time. But using it to try and become better really what I do. So it's still football for me. So I'm still using the time to watch, whether it's old games or training sessions, listen to podcasts. I've listened to quite a lot of podcasts, been listening to you guys a lot and other podcasts.
Jimmy, you should
forget that one in.
It's good, isn't it? It's a good podcast.
Another kind of football podcast ex-players, because you always pick things up, whether they spoke about what old managers were like, whether the good things, the bad things. I believe you can always learn something new every day, and that is why I love being involved with the football I'm doing at the minute, because I pick new things up. I see things that I don't like, so I think I don't want to do that. I see things that I would never think of that I'm going to try it. So I'm in a position when coaching from like under 7s up to kind of under 23s and all different ages, you can try all different things. And you said earlier, Carlo, about the Dutch way. That is how English football is going a little bit now, because when you're younger, you are teaching them the techniques, and they do kind of have a bit of the under 7s, 8s, 9s. They do have like a game that's recorded as a league, if you like, but then they have like a development game after, so everybody can play. So you do your 5-a-side, you then go 7-a-side, you go 9-a-side, which I'm still coaching at the minute, and then we're going to go to 11-a-side with the schoolboys next year. So it happens all the way, and players get more touches. I have a rule, and if you ask any of my players, they'll say straight away, how many positions should you be able to play? And I say a minimum of 2, if not 3. And the reason for that is you get to know football better. You're actually going to probably play more. Because if I can move you around and play in a different position rather than bring you off, it kind of develops you a little bit more. So I think it's important, and probably we're a little bit behind, aren't we, in English football the last few years with how we do things with Germans and Dutch and Spanish. But I think it is changing for the better, definitely.
Yeah.
I think we are going to see that.
Before I hand over to Chris, just a quick question. So what's happening? We know we're waiting for the EFL to make a decision on the championship. What's happening with the Shadow Scholars and all those? What is the season gone and forgotten? Are you waiting for the decision, or what's happening?
So anything from, I think, basically from professional level now has been finished. I think the National League this week's kind of been voided as well. I've seen today the Dutch. You'll like this one, Carl.
Yeah,
the Dutch League of
null and void, isn't it?
Null and void, yeah, which is worrying in one sense that it could happen in English football as well. But with what we do, everything's just finished basically now. So with our Shadow Scholars, what they do with the league. Now with my under 17s, we play in the under 18 league. So all the teams we play are a year above. So we have Barnsley's under 18s and the 17s are in the same league. So we managed to beat, with my mate and my Beddy, who I coached with quite a lot, he does the 18s, we managed to beat them 5-4 when we played them. So a bit of bragging rights for our team. And we never actually played the second game because we'd still had it to play. And I think we were above him by 1 or 2 points. But the way they did it were like the points per game ratio. So I've ended up finishing a point below. Him. There's a really complicated way of working that out, which goes on how many points you get at home games, away games, how many games in hand. So Leeds, who were in our league, they didn't play many games, but they'd won most of the games. So they ended up finishing, I think they might finish second in the end. They only played about 6 games all season, but they'd won 5. So kind of, it looks like they work it out on probable results. So they probably would have finished. But so I don't think we want it to go that way, do we? But I don't know what will happen professionally, but with us, and the Worsborough League is where everything's just kind of gone now and null and voided it, and it's disappointing. But you know, people still have bills to pay, even at semi-pro things. There's still things to do. Pay the money. So it was probably the right thing and the thing that had to be done, really.
We keep retweeting, don't we? We keep retweeting everything Worsborough does, Penistone, Adderley, because you almost feel, and I don't want to sound this. I don't mean it like that, but it's almost like you feel sorry for them because, like you say, these clubs still have costs, don't they? And the only form of income they have is gate.
Well, with Worsborough as well, and I don't know if you've played there, Chris, or not, but the pitch is it's not the best pitch in Barnsley. So it's flooded. It's literally flooded Barnsley Bank twice this season. So we went probably 1 home game in maybe 3 months. So it was really difficult to. Sometimes you motivate the lads and you say, right, well, we're all good to go this week. Suddenly it rains on a Wednesday night and our game on a Thursday. As soon as it rains, I know our game's off because I've played there that many years. You know what's happening. So it's frustrating, but it costs you money as well to get your pitch back in order. And I mean, I was there in the times when they built a new set of changing rooms now, but where the old changing rooms, it literally flooded them. I mean, the pitch is probably 10-foot drop from there, and you couldn't see the crossbar. And when it really rains and bursts banks, it's probably the worst pitch for that. But all these things cost money, and I think they've put some out now, Worsborough, to again a donation, or people want to donate things to help us, because that's how these semi-pro clubs survive as well. So it's tricky.
Yeah. Adderley have come up with an initiative. I don't know if you've seen it, Chris. We retweeted it, where you buy a number or whatever for I think it's £50, but if you win it, you become their shirt sponsor, you become this, because they're all, Krosky's will be the same. I mean, your season, because this is the point where Chris comes in, takes over, and tells about all the goals that he scored. but Chris, you'll miss it as well, because you enjoy your Sunday football, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's a massive way of me socialising. I stopped playing Sunday League football when I took my previous job in police. But now I've got my weekends back with this new job, so I've started playing again.
Big return.
Nice. But I play with a lot of my old schoolmates, people that I grew up with when I was 7, 8, 9 years old. It's not as high standard I was playing before I left, but I really enjoy it. I score a lot more. I look better.
It's the under 12. It's the under 12s league, Jimmy.
And I mean, we've had best season in the history of the entire club. The club that I've signed for is a club at Wath, called Cross Keys, and they've been bottom of the league for the past 4 years, and that is the bottom of the bottom league. And I mean, this season I think we probably would have finished 5th or 6th. The 4 games that we got left, I think we beat 3 of the teams already. So I think if we'd have won them, then we'd have been like 4th or 5th. So it's such a shame for us, really. But I think what we all, I know. I think what we all miss, just like yourselves, you mean, just like Carlo, is just being there.
Yeah.
I don't miss winning. I don't miss losing.
I think I was thinking earlier when I was thinking about this podcast tonight. You come back from Barnsley games and we're all disappointed if we lose or we've not played well. Now you just can't wait to go and watch a game and you think, will we moan as much now if we don't?
I just want to feel something again.
Yeah, just to go and watch it. Yeah.
Although I woke up this morning and realised we're unbeaten in 5 weeks.
Listen, we talk about wanting to finish league off, and that's the right thing to do. That would be incredibly fair, and in the name of football and keeping it all fair and square, we should finish league off. But could you imagine the party outside Barnsley Town Hall once this lockdown's finished and Barnsley have staved off relegation due to the league being null and void? Could you imagine them? I mean, financially, in the long run, it would help the town, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Local businesses, you might see a boom if Barnsley were to stay up and this lockdown were to finish and that were to come by within a week. You could. But then you think about Barnsley itself as a football club, the revenue that's brought in through the Championship is massive. So I mean, it's all good. It's all good and well. So we want it to finish.
Now, call it. Do the Dutch way. Null and void.
From a very selfish point of view, from a very red tight spectacles on, I really want it to.
But I was kind of thinking.
Go on, Jimmy.
Thinking like when it first started, I don't want to stay up on default. That's not why I would like. Don't sit well as it's gone on. Like you've said, I think financially, the fact that you're championship, if they did null and void it and that's the rules, and we stay up, you take that because I think it's so important to this level. You just think of games where big away followings, it's a better atmosphere. It's better for everybody. Last year or the year before when we won league, when we came second in League One, really good season for us, but atmospheres were difficult because of the away following. We were a good team, weren't we then, playing really well. But I think when people say to me, we'll go down and we'll start again, I don't agree with that. I don't think it's a good way of doing it. I think even if you struggle every year, you should be trying to play at the highest level you can. And
I mean, since Struber's arrival, he has proved that these players are good enough for the Championship now. I think we sit 15th, 16th.
Yeah,
we're just going on points alone since Struber started. So it's proved that these players are ready for the Championship. So what a real shame it would be to be back in League One, probably lose 3 or 4 of those players because they probably want to go and play for a bigger team. Where probably finances are better. But if we're ready for it, which we've proven we are over the past 3-4 months.
I think what I saw from the beginning of the season to now is I think the players probably we brought in needed a bit of time to settle in because they were struggling and it's a new league. You like to see Connor Chaplin and people like that. I weren't sure what kind of player he was when I first saw him. Then he started scoring goals. So I think it took maybe 20 games to adapt to it. Unfortunately, he left us in a difficult position. But the run we had, I think when we won the 3 games in a row and was thinking, we're going to stay up, then we lose 2. But with the games left, I've kind of thought, if we played behind closed doors, does that help us? Because the young players going to games where there's no, like saying, I think we've got Leeds to play away. Would you rather play Leeds behind closed doors? Or
I said that to you, Carlo. I said, would it suit a younger mentality?
Yeah,
So,
I think that I've had the viewpoints from the very first week of all this starting. To me, you either play them in the normal conditions and you play well enough, you stay up, you deserve to stay up, or you call it null and void. But if you're going to do it behind closed doors, or if you're going to do it, I don't think they're going to use like a point per game system or whatever. But I think you either do it normal or you don't. My worry is we're now in almost the last week of April, going into May. They're going to have, I think they talked about a minimum of a 3-week sort of warm, pre-season to get that together. Then, I don't know. I don't think we'll get to a point in June or July where you can have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 30, 40,000 people in the stadium. I think we're way too far from that. And that's when I think it's going to be really awkward.
Yeah, I think if it carries on, it's going to be behind closed doors. I think for sure. I think I've read is there this 56 days. They're trying to like do the rest of the season in 56 days when they get it started, and
wow,
they 4 games every day or whatever. So there's all things they're looking at, but I'm just wondering whether it could help us in terms of playing behind closed doors and not going to massive stadiums with big support, and whether the pressure's off us a little bit with us being bottom of the league and stuff like that. With your Leeds, I think, for just using them as an example, they probably get a lot of results with the fact that they have got an intimidating ground that people maybe beat, and especially if the likes of us are a young team. So maybe it could go in our advantage. We'll have to wait and see on that.
It wouldn't make much difference, would it? Because if we're nice to Jimmy, he can put us on the rota for the remaining games. It's part of the press. We can be there. So we could still potentially see. Before Chris asks you about room, what is it, 102?
Oh, I've got another question for Jimmy as well. I just want to know,
right.
Jimmy, your hours, you're working like 70-hour weeks, 8 hours a week usually. I just want to know how you're so well pruned. You've got a lovely beard all the time. You've got really nice hair. You're an absolute solid 7.5 out of 10. I just wondered how you managed it.
There's a story behind this, because I get my haircut every Saturday morning before I go and do my schoolboys. So I've not had my haircut for like 6 weeks now. So I'm struggling. I've had to go out and buy myself a new razor. That's why I'm keeping myself trim. That's all I can do. But it's a struggle with no hairdressers open. I've got to be honest.
How do you follow that? I mean, what can I possibly? I'll tell you what. I'll finish with a comment before you do 102, Chris. I just want to say that from we see you around Oakwell, obviously on match days. We got involved more through Phil. We did the training at the hospital. We did the paperwork and everything else. And obviously, we see you around match days. During these times when football seems to take a back step and it's more about people at the front line, it's very awkward out there. Somebody could walk past you or whatever, and people are dying, aren't there? Over 10,000 people now. So huge respect for what you're doing, and I mean that. I literally really mean that. And I think you do good in your job with your volunteers, and then in your spare time, I'm sure most of these young footballers miss their. When I say Uncle Jimmy, I don't mean that in a weird sort of way. you know what I mean? So it's been really nice having the opportunity to sit down and talk rather than, doing the commentary or whatever. I hope things get back to normal. I really hope we can go to Oakwell, Chris, do a bit of commentary together and see Jimmy in his tracksuit sitting down with Davers and Hassel and everybody else. And thanks for taking the time to come on a Friday evening and share your kitchen with us.
No, absolute pleasure. I think
which is better than my bedroom, in fact.
No, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity coming on. It's I say we see you guys around and talk to each other, and I think when we're all kind of Barnsley fans, you have that natural kind of. I think when you two came for your interview, is what it was called. I think it's an interview, but we just talk football for like an hour, talk about Barnsley and stuff, which is what we're doing. I think just on what you said about the frontline workers, I try not to kind of. What I do is nothing compared to what like the nursing staff and the doctors and things do. I like the fact that I can just go and help in any way I can. It keeps in the routine of going to work as well. But I've probably not seen a lot of the things that are going off there. There's a lot of tough things that people, nurses will have seen. But I think they're the ones who we all our respect really. And football has to take a back seat, as much as we enjoy it and stuff like that, and I know the kids miss it, and I miss coaching everybody and watching games, going to Barnsley games on TV. But it'll come back at some point, whether that's in a few weeks, a few months, it will come back. But
And we'll probably appreciate it more, won't we?
Yeah, definitely. I think we should have been in last weekend. I should have been in Barcelona with our schoolboy team as well in a tournament. Yeah. So that got cancelled, which is disappointing for everybody. But that's just, it happens, doesn't it? And that's the way things have gone. But, there's always next year. I'm sure we'll go again, and football will be back, and Barnsley will be back, and we'll all be there.
And Chris will still be there, looking
still be there,
yeah.
I'm giving a little wave when you're commentating as well.
One more question for you, Jimmy, then before you go. Any guests that come on the show, we ask them, what would they like to put into room 102, Reds report room, which basically means anything in football that you want to get rid of, be it physical or not. Just to do examples, we've had referees in there.
VAR.
We've had the demeanour of referees. We've had offside rule. We've also had wind in there.
Yeah, that's Andy Clark from the club, because he wants the fan zone to be there for every home match. So, yeah.
I've been listening to you. I've been thinking of the answers there. I've got a few things I'd like to change. I probably haven't got long enough.
No, we've got long enough.
I'll touch on VAR, but it's not the thing I'd change. But I'm not a fan of it whatsoever personally. I like the drama of. I'm a believer in a season. Things go for you and against you. I think it works out, and you forget the times when that goal that were offside that you scored, you forget about that because it worked for you. You concentrate on the time that you got done from that, or a penalty decision. So I'm not a big fan. I don't think it's changed. Making everything right, because there's still a referee in a studio makes a different call to what a referee, what you think, what I think. So that's just for me. I'm not a fan of it, but I think it's going to happen. It's basically how football's going. The thing I don't like about it as well is the Premier League get this, but the Championship don't, or Sunday League don't. So you're actually there's 2 games of football going off really in a way. So I'm not a big fan of it, but that's not the thing I would change. I think that's just going to happen. The one thing I would change, which I hate, and I didn't like doing this when I played, is why we shake hands before a game.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of that. So you come out, you wish people good luck. You don't want to wish them good luck, really. You hope they have a bad game, and you hope they play the worst game of the season. Afterwards, I think massively important, you shake hands with your kids or professionals, and people know each other, players know each other, whether it's Sunday League, like you'll play your mates, or professionals. So I think having the respect after to say well done to somebody who's played well and that. But before a game, I used to like when you sort of run out of your tunnel, you go to one and they go to another. You're in battle, and I think when you see it in the on your way out in the tunnel, they're all shaking hands, high-fiving. And I watched the Roy Keane Vieira thing the other day from that was brilliant. That is, just the focus they had in, I know they didn't like each other, but I think you should be focused. You go out, and I just think it's a little bit silly that you have to line up.
It's almost like fake respect, isn't it? I mean,
I think it is.
I go watch WAF rugby team quite often. I've got a few friends that play for first team, and I mean, afterwards they all go for a beer together in the clubhouse, and they are the most respectful to each other. You can go out with footballers, they can shake hands, and then at the end of the game, they'll come by arguing with each other, which totally defeats entire objective first place.
Yeah, I can understand why they're doing it with this respect campaign, but I'm just not sure. I will think it'd be better if you lined up after a game and had to do it rather than
to me, it has to be real respect, though, Jimmy, because there's people that take the game too far. They come off the grass and they still want to argue, but it's gone. Yeah. And at that minute in time, you're back to being a human. Do you know what I mean?
But this is the problem. I'm not wanting to guy on my high stool, but this is the problem with the FA. The respect campaign is a respect campaign. People shake hands and they think they've done solved all their problems. Then once a year they wear a kicky out, and they think that's going to get rid of racism. It's not. No. It's very easy to say we're behind this because all players wear a T-shirt. That does nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It probably looks like you're doing rather than actually kind of doing it.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. I think as when you walk out of the tunnel and it just seems to take forever to kind of get things going, and you want to get the game underway. I don't think it actually helps players. I'm sure if you speak to most footballers, they'd probably think it's a bit of a nonsense having to do it. And like you said, it's probably false handshake. You see now a lot of it. They're kind of high-fiving each other because they know each other. It's not really an actual handshake and stuff like that.
When I was bored, I will put it on Twitter one day, Chris. When I was bored earlier this week, it was an evening. There was nothing on telly. I designed my ideal football stadium, and my idea would be the away team goes underneath the Ponty end. They have a very small room with no heating. They have their own tunnel, right? And they have to walk in front of the Ponty end to the halfway line. The Barnsley fans come out from in between the East end. So they're surrounded by their own fans, and that's how you start a match. Don't next to each other holding hands all that malarkey. Give them a walk in front of Ponty end before they start.
I think we have this. I see it more now when I go to away games. I can remember Sunderland the year ago. They purposely put you in the highest position in the ground, so you're furthest away from the play. They made the away team warm up at the other end as well, which I've never seen that before. So you can't generate an atmosphere, and you think, their kind of things probably might give you that extra few percent, maybe put the players off and stuff like that. So there's probably something in that as well. But
you think, Jimmy, you're in a way. Let's say you're in Leeds. You're in Leeds coming out of the tunnel at Oakwell. You come out to 5,000 Leeds fans. What you forgot in the bottom corner of the West End? No, well, you got me and Chris. If we're not commentating. So I've always said, even if they just bring 2,000, put them in that corner, leave that empty and try to even it up a bit. But
no, I agree.
But Carlo, is Jimmy's respect handshaking prior to the game going in room 102?
Oh, it's in already, if you look. Done.
That's it, Jimmy. I've patched it for you.
I'll make it clear. I do like the respect of
but
I will just have it after a game. And
yes, of course.
And the problem is, I completely get it. You do the respect handshake, and then you nearly break somebody's leg on a late tackle. Now, do it afterwards.
Yeah.
Do it afterwards to show that was the match. 90 minutes are over. That's the result. You show respect, you will walk off.
But you want to win for your team, and you're kind of saying good luck today. And you're thinking you don't really want to wish them good luck today. You don't do score an own goal, have a bad game. But I think afterwards you need to respect them. But during the game, you want to, we all want to win as fans, players. You're behind the team you're with, and you want to win, and that's what it's all about. I think.
I love it.
That's for me. So we'll change it. You guys change it, and then I'll be happy with that.
Well, Chris will sign it off, and then.
Jimmy, thank you very much for joining us on this Friday/Saturday evening. We really appreciate it. You are probably one of the busiest men in Barnsley. Obviously, just like me and Carlo, no matter how many hats that you do wear for this wonderful town of ours, I know you give your heart and soul to it. No matter how many hats you wear, they're all red. All right.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, boys. I really enjoyed it.
No worries.
Thank you very much. I've been Chris Ridyard.
Chris, don't forget, your book's on the way, all right? It's got pictures and words, this one, for you, mate.
I've got to start again now, Carlo. I've been Chris Ridyard. He's been Carlo van der Water. He's been Jimmy Whitehead. Thank you very much. This has been the Reds Report.